That'll go all the way. Well, his first scoring shot through the extra cover gap for 4. Very strict security today. That's probably why it's taken a little while for this ground to fill up. Well, that's well played again by Taylor. Another loose ball, and he's hit that beautifully through the offside field. He doesn't have to really worry to run for that one. That's 2 he's got now. 1 off the front foot through the offside field off Prabhakar, and that was a bit short, and he punished it well.
But when a batsman doesn't move his feet, we call it a khade shot.
Oh, he's had a go at that one too, and he's blazed that one through the offside field. Very wide delivery. Taylor was committed to it. He went after it, and it's gone fizzing away for 4. He's got that away in the air. It's going to go for 4, is it? No, it's cut off down there. It's a fumble. It's 4. That's the first little bit of misfielding by the Indians. They've been good so far. Well, good shot, beautifully driven. That's a classic cover drive. A magnificent shot. You won't see many better than that. Right into the gap as well. And so Mark Waugh now beginning to turn it on too. In the air and through gully. In fact, it was wide of him. And that's gone for 4 too. So anything that's up, they're going to go for it while this field is up. And that was a good shot.
Blokes there to revive the innings and still make a reasonable score. And on the evidence of their performance so far, they're definitely playing to a game plan. Mark Waugh here playing a long way away from his body, but they've decided that anything that's going to be pitched up, they're going to have a go at it. Again, they're looking to play that one square of the wicket. Little bit of movement off the seam there. That one seemed to just duck back late in the air. Mongia taking his eye off the ball. There's certainly been some encouragement there for the bowlers, and they beat the bat a couple of times early on. But the Australians haven't been deterred in their attempt to push the scoring rate along.
Brilliant piece of fielding again by Mohammad Azharuddin. That's what the Indians need today. They're playing against a strong side.
Azharuddin does set a very good example for his side in the field. Very athletic player, covers a lot of territory.
And this really is a glorious shot from Mark Waugh, standing up on that back foot and smashing it through point.
Yes, there's enough bounce there to encourage the batsmen to play their shots. The ball coming onto the bat looks to be, in fact, a pretty decent one-day pitch, because there's certainly some encouragement for the bowlers. As I mentioned, Srinath has put his back in and got a little bit of bounce there. Prospects of a decent score here for Australia.
Bit of movement there for Prasad to end the over. 40 for no wicket, Australia. Wonderful shots. In fact, the Australians have hit 7 boundaries in the score of 40. So it gives you a clear indication. So far, the bat has dominated the ball. Srinath to continue. And the batsman on strike, Mark Taylor. This is one of the strengths, this Australian team, always on the lookout for the single. And even if Mark Taylor didn't get any bat on that ball, he was so quick to call Mark Waugh across.
Yes, Mark Waugh can take the credit for this single. He was very quick to see the opportunity. He realised that he was the man who had to make sure he could get home. He was quick to encourage Taylor to run. The reason Azharuddin didn't throw the ball, there was no one backing up. He could see that he was going to concede some overthrows if he fired at the stumps. Decided against it.
It's a much better line from Javagal Srinath, because whenever he's given any room outside the off stump to either Mark Waugh or Mark Taylor, the Australians have been quick to pounce on it. There hasn't been much movement in the air, so that's allowed the Australians to play through the line. India's success in one-day cricket over the last couple of years has been primarily due to the fact that Javagal Srinath has picked up early wickets for them. So far today, the bat has dominated the ball. Good tight over this so far from Javagal Srinath. He's been bang on target.
Yes, the only way you're really going to restrict Australia to a moderate score is to get wickets, because, as I mentioned, they've got a very strong batting lineup, and it's a long one. And with Michael Bevan having played so well in the World Series competition, Australia now adopt this approach of attacking from the outset, working on the basis that if it comes off, they're going to get a huge score, which is important against India because they're a good batting lineup.
Loud appeal there for a catch down the leg side. Mark Waugh certainly isn't interested. By the look of it, may have just hit his thigh pad on the way to Nayan Mongia.
Very good take there by Mongia. There's no big screen for the replay here at the Wankhede Stadium, but there's plenty of animation in the crowd. They're all giving their own versions of what happened. The important one is that it came off the thigh pad, and umpire Shepherd shook his head.
A terrific delivery from Srinath again. Cutting back into Mark Waugh. What saved Mark Waugh there was the little bit of extra bounce. Good over there from Srinath. 41 for no loss, Australia. Played by Taylor, square of the wicket on the offside.
This is the sort of ground where the batsman gets going, he's going to get a big score. There's only one thing you need to concentrate on here as a batsman, and that's placement. You realise that if you get it past the field, then it's away to the boundary. It's a very quick outfield, although it's a well-grassed outfield. Taylor just making sure that he got it past the man inside the circle, Jadeja. And he achieved that for his 5th boundary.
Venkatesh Prasad would look not to give Mark Taylor any room outside the off stump, because he's been very severe on anything that's been bowled wide. And there again, a little bit of width outside that off stump, and Mark Taylor can do no wrong today. 6th boundary through the offside.
It's beautiful batting by Mark Taylor. Not very good bowling from Prasad. He's just a bit too short at the moment. Prabhakar beat Taylor a couple of times by bringing him forward, but he's being allowed to play off the back foot there, and he's very strong in that area.
And after Mark Taylor has played those two shots in the offside, Sachin Tendulkar coming in close in the offside to short cover position. But it won't be a bad idea for Venkatesh Prasad if he goes round the wicket to Mark Taylor and tucks him up, because by giving him width outside the off stump, he's allowed Taylor to use his arms and play freely. And there again, he gets the bottom edge. Venkatesh Prasad.
Coming off 65 balls, and he may have cost himself a wicket there, Prasad, because by bowling short and allowing Taylor to hit him through the offside, he forced the captain to take the slip fielder out. He might just have had a catch. Might have taken a brilliant diving effort from first slip, but if you haven't got any slips there, not much chance. You're then just relying purely on the wicketkeeper.
And 9 runs coming off that Venkatesh Prasad over, 50 for no wicket Australia. And this really is a terrific shot from Mark Taylor. He's picked that ball from Srinath so quickly that he's literally hit him over mid-on off the back foot for 4.
That looked to be a premeditated shot from Mark Taylor. It certainly worked because it came right off the middle. He likes to play the pull shot, but I don't think you could actually class that one as a pull shot. Certainly wasn't very short.
You're right, Ian, there. That certainly was premeditated. Mark Taylor knows that Srinath is the spirit of the Indian attack, and he's just not allowed him to settle down today.
Srinath could feel a little aggrieved there, because it wasn't a bad ball at all. It was dispatched as though it was absolute rubbish.
They're again looking for that pull shot through mid-wicket.
The important thing about the Australian batting is that they're showing intent, and once you show intent, you really put it to the bowler. On that occasion, he got the one there for the pull shot, just moved away a touch off the seam, and that caused Mark Taylor to hit it right out on the end of the bat, on the toe of the bat. And he was a little fortunate that it didn't go onto the stumps in the end. But the Australians are showing their intent, and it means the bowlers have to maintain very good line and length, otherwise they're going to be punished.
Well, that's been one of Mark Taylor's most profitable shots today. Force off the back foot through the covers, but only a single this time, and by David Shepherd having a word with Javagal Srinath here for running on the wicket. And in fact, he's given him the first warning. He's told the captain.
And first movement there by Srinath is the one that's caused the problem. The one with the right foot plonking down right in the danger area. Shepherd gave him a warning.
Again, very good running by the Australians. The moment Mark Waugh played that ball on the onside, he was off in a flash.
As the Indian bowlers just erring on in their length. They're just a touch short. Most of the aggressive shots have been played off the back foot. Javagal Srinath, it's his right foot, that first pace onto the pitch, that's the one that causes the problem and has got him a warning, official warning. Had an unofficial one.
Misfield there by the Indian captain allows Mark Taylor to go through for a single. Another good over for Australia, 57 for no loss. The Australians scoring at almost 5 runs per over. Reached 57 in just 12 overs, and Mark Taylor doing the bulk of the scoring in 35. And at 4.75 runs per over is a very impressive run rate. Venkatesh Prasad will continue from the Tata end, and the Australian captain on strike.
Well, 2 other matches being played today. One in Group B, that's the match between New Zealand and UAE. New Zealand making 276 for the loss of 8 wickets. That was reduced to a 47 over game because there was a lot of mist around in the morning. The start was delayed. That was in Faisalabad, and UAE are 53 for 2 after 14 overs. So New Zealand cruising towards victory there in that Group B match.
Again there, Mark Taylor trying to play it on the onside. The ball just holding on him a bit, getting the leading edge in the end. But that's a much better line from Venkatesh Prasad.
And also a better length. You see there that Taylor was brought onto the front foot. And that's what India have got to do. Australia at the moment are making all the running. And that is the situation in Group B, with South Africa heading up the table with 3 victories.
Again, that attempted pull shot from Mark Taylor. With no ball signal there, and Mohammad Azharuddin at the moment certainly has a job on his hands. It'll be interesting to see how quickly he takes before he gets his spinners back into the attack. There's another look at the table for you. Pakistan starting off late, but winning both their games. South Africa top of the table. And again, he's beaten the field on the offside. A dive there at backward point from Anil Kumble in Wayne, and Mark Taylor picks up yet another boundary.
Once again, Taylor being allowed to play off the back foot. Only time he's looked in trouble is when he's been brought onto the front foot and the ball's moved off the seam a little. If Prasad's going to keep allowing him to play off the back foot, then Azharuddin's got to do something. He's going to have to change the tactics, try and get a breakthrough.
Again, a no ball, so things really not going well for Venkatesh Prasad. Every time he's given width outside the off stump, he's been smashed through the offside. And now bowling the second no ball of the over.
Looked to be a change of pace, and maybe just striving to get things right. A little bit of tension. Certainly the leg cutter. I think it's probably the tension as much as anything with Prasad that's caused him to overstride. He's taking a bit of a pounding from Mark Taylor, and he's reasonably inexperienced, obviously realising that he's got to do something to stop Taylor. And trying to change things, he's overstepped a couple of times.
Much better line there from Prasad. Now with Mohammad Azharuddin coming in to that position at short mid-wicket, Venkatesh Prasad can attack the middle and leg stump, try and tuck up Mark Taylor. because he certainly has been scoring runs pretty freely. 3 matches so far in this World Cup for Prasad. .63 for no wicket, Australia.
Inside the first 15 overs, so Azharuddin has to find 2 catching men. And interesting that he's gone for one of them as a leg slip. First slip, Sachin Tendulkar. And the other thing that is interesting is to have a look at the depth that they're fielding. That gives you an idea of how fast this man bowls as a leg spinner. At first slip, Sachin Tendulkar is fielding more in a position where you would expect him to be for a medium pacer, which is not surprising because that's about the pace that Kumble bowls.
He does get a lot of bounce, does Anil Kumble. He's got a high arm action. There again, bang on target, but cannot restrict that single on the offside.
Most of his deliveries come from very high. That's why he doesn't spin the leg break too much, because he's almost at the perpendicular. Every now and again, though, he comes a little bit more round arm with some side spin. That's a slower one, and that's the one that does grip a little bit as a leg break. The wrong un, well, because he is up so high, the wrong un tends to spin a bit and bounce. Then he has a couple of different varieties of deliveries that really skid on quite quickly to the batsman. You've got to be a good back foot player to play this man well.
That's nicely played by Taylor on the onside. We get only 1 run here. Venkatesh Prasad doing a good job coming in from deep square leg.
That's a good piece of fielding, and maybe that'll help boost the confidence a little, because Prasad has taken a bit of a pounding, mainly at the hands of Mark Taylor, and I think it's got to him a little bit. But important thing is that he's charged in there and achieved a good piece of fielding, which will perhaps boost his confidence. Now, good move from Azharuddin. He's bringing Prasad up inside the circle at point to try and stop that easy single for Mark Waugh.
And that's a good first over from Anil Kumble. Still a delivery to go on the over, but he's been bang on target. Just what his captain wanted at this stage, especially with the Australians off to a flying start. This really is beautiful placement from Mark Waugh. Anil Kumble drifting on that leg stump, and Mark Waugh playing it very late and getting 3 runs in the end. 68 for no wicket, Australia.
No hesitation in batting first. Good pitch here. The outfield is nice and fast too, and they really have taken advantage of the loose balls they've received. They've hit 4s all around the place. Taylor's on 40 now, Mark Waugh on 24. Seems to me that the plan was for Taylor to cut loose, and that's exactly what he's done. And that one off the inside edge, so Mark Waugh trying to blast that one through the offside as well, not contacting the ball. Not just to be a little bit of movement. You see the seam was up there, just look back a little bit. Certainly noticed that 1 or 2 off-cutters bowled by Prabhakar cut back, so there should be a little bit of turn for the spinners. And then Venkatesh Prasad. That's well played again, off the back foot, beautifully hit away on the offside. It's a good throw too. been a few big roars here when the LBW appeals have gone up. A couple of relatively close ones. A couple of close shaves outside off stump too. Playing and missing on 2 occasions Taylor, but other than that, it's been all Australia. Wankhede Stadium is packed. And Taylor really looks as if he's trying to turn it on here. They intend getting a big score. Back for the second. Wars looking for 3 and halfway back. Taylor says no. Well, Richie, the conditions out there look very good. It's a very charged atmosphere, and the Australians look in a very positive frame of mind.
Yes, it's been a very good start for them so far, and Taylor with 42 has dominated things out there.
Rich, have to get you one of those throat lozenges.
I've been chewing them all morning, and it's getting better, I can tell you.
.73 without loss. Prasad again, bowling to Taylor. The run rate is nudging up to 5. Slower ball straight to the field at that time. Good calling from Taylor. The running between the wicket too has been absolutely superb out there. They really have run beautifully. What they did initially was push a few singles, drag that offside field in particular in. They were a little bit deep. They took advantage of it. And then, of course, they started to come in close to try and stop the ones. They then blasted it through the offside field. This has been a great performance so far, and the captain is leading from the front. 44 he's got. Or 50 deliveries. Way down the leg side, that's wide for sure. Very nearly 4 wides. Just got a hand on it.
Well, that's the first one he's really swung out there, and it's cost an extra run. He's not been on the ball at all so far, Prasad.
Just got his glove on that one. Fully stretched. And Mongia, the wicketkeeper, no bad batsman either. That's the view from behind the bowler. Stadium. That's the over. It's 74 without loss. I agree that these two now can push singles almost anywhere. Anything straight is going to gather a single as long as you get past the bowler, because mid-off and mid-on are back. And we're talking about the right-handers field at the moment. They've got a man square, a sweeper on the offside, as well as a sweeper back on the onside. So 3 matches in all going on today. This is the match that is utilising the rain day because the problems yesterday with the weather. Zimbabwe versus Kenya. Kenya 134 all out off almost their 50 overs. And Zimbabweans 102 for 3. Grant Flower at 45. So Zimbabweans looking good there. Attempted a Yorker. He does that. He tries to slip that quicker Yorker in quite often and comfortably back for 2. That was a little dangerous. That one flicked the fingers of Kumble. That was very well backed up by the captain, Mohammad Azharuddin. He was right in there, and despite that deflection off the fingers, he managed to stop it.
This left-hand, right-hand combination was a problem for Anil Kumble out there. Each time they take a single, it's make it change his direction.
So 4 runs from that over. It's 78 without loss. Aussies have got off to a great start. Big expectation from the Indian side here today. But they really have played superbly. Mark Waugh and Mark Taylor have gone in there with a very positive attitude. And again, good running between the wickets, and again a fumble. This, perhaps just a half chance there. Fumbled on the offside.
There's definitely a chance there. He gathered it in properly.
It's missed by miles. Jadeja fielding at extra cover. He's now at mid-wicket to the left-hander.
I had the feeling Jadeja was just trying to be a bit too clever there. He actually tried to flick it at the stumps instead of gathering it in. It may have cost a wicket.
Yes, certainly hit it off straight away, the striker. Yeah, that was, it certainly was. It looked as if he was trying to be a bit smart. As you can see, the ball ended up yards away from the stumps. So that definitely is an opportunity he's gone begging. Oh, and it's over the top of the middle stump. They're asking the question. Well, I think he might have nicked that, but I'm not so sure that it carried. Well, either that or did it nick the bail? It certainly sounded as if there was a bit of a sound there. Taylor trying to heave that one out the ground. Well, let's see if we can pick up anything here. Down the wicket he goes. Looked like a deflection for sure, and comfortably taken. Well, I've got to say, I think that was out from that angle. It sounded like a big nick there. The keeper didn't... wicketkeeper didn't go up at all. Taylor continues to try and belt the ball through the offside field in a very aggressive frame of mind. This is the one that looks as if there was a deflection off the bat. See if you can pick a change of direction as the ball goes past the bat here. Well, the wicketkeeper certainly wasn't interested. Well, it might just be that Taylor didn't get any bat on that one. Certainly the wicketkeeper closest to the action there didn't react at all. Mongia, the man behind the stumps. And the umpire out there is umpire Steve Dunn. He's from New Zealand. He's at the tighter end. One of the problems in these stadiums, they make so much noise, but it's difficult to hear the nicks. Way down the leg side, and quite right. Wide signal. So Prasad he's almost bowled 5 overs now, and conceding almost 6 runs, or 5.5 runs per over. No wickets yet to the Indians. They need a wicket pretty badly. These Australians have got a lot of batting to come. They really will be able to turn it on. Well, just 2 runs off that over. The Australians move on to 80 without losses that opened in 1903, and this is the huge foyer in the Taj Mahal. Absolutely full of people when cricket matches are on. It seems that everyone in Bombay tries to gather in there for an autograph. Both teams are staying in the hotel. Really is superbian.
Yes, excellent hotel, Tony. We didn't stay there when I toured India in 1969. We stayed, unfortunately, at the Brabourne Stadium, which is just out the back. during the Test match, and we had one night at the Taj just before we flew to South Africa. So this is my first opportunity to have a look at it, and I'm impressed.
Yes, that was the Zodiac Grill restaurant, and then that's absolutely superb. And that's the Coke girl. She's out on the float out there alongside that huge, great Coke bottle, which unfolds and becomes a bit of a drinks bar. So the drink's almost over. And the players ready to start all over again. The Indians desperately need a wicket here. The Australians have played superbly. And Richie Beno, unfortunately, has had to pop down to the chemist and go and buy some goggle. He's struggling a little bit with his voice. Ian Chappell's in the commentary box. Perhaps he needs a good strong curry, chaps.
Yes, that fixes all problems, Greggy. Bit of chicken tikka and pickled lamb, bit of paratha, and away you go. Maybe something cold to wash it down with, whatever takes your fancy.
Well, it looks as if it's going to be Raju now, the left-arm orthodox spinner. Then Kanapathi Raju. 44 matches all up. Economy rate of just over 4. Just 26 years of age. Quite a character he is too. So he's taking over from Anil Kumble. 2 overs, no wicket for 9, Kumble's figures. So this is Raju. Just a little bit of spin there for him, and nicely placed again. Really have rotated the strike well.
This has been an impressive performance from the two marks. They've obviously gone out there with intent to apply some pressure to India, probably feeling that India is one of the favoured sides in the competition. They can get an advantage at this early stage. It won't do them any harm for perhaps another meeting later on in the tournament. It's been a measured performance by the Australians. They've obviously gone out there with the idea of applying an enormous amount of pressure. And the other thing that it's done, not only has it forced the Indian bowlers to err a little in line and length, but it's taken the crowd out of the game.
It certainly has. They've gone very quiet, almost stunned they are. At the moment, they're just homing in on the action and being very, very rowdy and raucous early on, especially when there was a play and miss or an appeal for LBW. The trouble a lot of them have gone to get tickets here is absolutely incredible. Well, that's a great shot. That's going for 6. That's a magnificent hit way back over the top. Well, this is a gem of an innings for Mark Taylor. That's his half century, and he's played beautifully.
Taylor hitting with the spin there and really got that one off the middle. And it was 6 from the moment he hit it.
He's had a go at that one too. Outside off stump, wasn't bad bowling, just held it back a little bit. He's played it away on the offside. So 8 runs off Raju's first over. It's 88 without loss. Run rate still up there, just under 5 and over. What a beautiful hit that was from Taylor, way over the top of mid-wicket. And so Kumble, the leg spinner, bowling for Taylor. And he's got that one through the field as well. There's a sweeper back there. Cambley. It's a big cheer from all his fans down at third man.
Because Mark Taylor really has been a leader, leading from the front in this match. He's been the one who's gone after the Indian bowlers. Beautiful hit there from Raju, bringing up his 50. Fine style.
He said went about 6 or 7 rows back over the fence. Well, that one's offline, and Taylor gets it away nicely. The man quite fine. Can't bowl any of those deliveries pitching around about leg stump and outside, because I'll just pick him off there. Very important now from the Indians' point of view that they get a breakthrough, and perhaps it's Kumble, the man who could do it. It hasn't really done too much for him so far. Taylor wanted one there, and correction, Mark Waugh wanted one there, and there probably was one. And Taylor, I think, complaining, saying that he couldn't hear his call.
Yes, that was the indication from Mark Taylor. He put his hand up to his ear, I think, telling Mark Waugh to scream it out, because the crowd, although they're a bit quiet, they're still making a lot of noise.
And they come back to the second here. Mark Waugh touches down, yes, comfortably through for second. In fact, it's gone all the way. Well, it's a little bit difficult from this section of the commentary box to pick that part of the ground down there, because we've got a section of building in front of us, but it seemed that he timed that one pretty well. It ran away to the fence quite fast. There are a few pitches down there, so it gathered a bit of momentum and beat the fieldsman coming along from square. So Waugh on 34, Taylor on 55. Picking him off everywhere.
Yes, the Indian bowlers have struggled a bit under the pressure that's been exerted by this opening pair. Kumble just not maintaining line. Prasad was too short, particularly when bowling to Mark Taylor. So the Australians have rattled the Indians with their tactics.
The run rate has nudged over 5 for the first time, and it's 96 without loss. The game goes, so they decide how their men are going, and they're quite right at the moment. Having said that, the Australians aren't batting too badly. In fact, they're batting very well indeed. And almost up to 100 now. Haven't even got to the 20th. Stumping, and he's asked for a replay. Well, I think Mark Waugh thought that he was okay. He's staying there at the moment. That was a good delivery. It did turn quite a long way, beat the outside edge. It had to be dragged back a long way. I suspect he was okay. Let's have a look.
Bit of turn there for Raju. He flighted the ball nicely and got the ball to turn a long way. Mark Waugh did go out of the crease, but he was back very quickly and got the toe down. A little bit loath to say too much about what we think the decision is, because we happen to be sitting in the same room as the third umpire, which I think is absolutely ludicrous.
One played into the gap on the offside, and just a single. Yes, that's how desperate they are to get themselves a wicket. That was not out. Not even close to being out. He did drag his foot outside the crease, but it took such a long way for him to come back.
The other problem for the crowd is that the lights are set well back. In fact, they're just in front of our commentary position. Everything seems to revolve around the commentary position here at Wankhede Stadium, and the crowd can't see the lights.
Yes, they've got a new screen, a new big Megavision screen up, which is pretty good actually. It reflects the scores there of the two batsmen and the totals. Obviously the whole batting lineup will eventually be up there. It's the first time it's being used here. It's a replay screen.
Yes, the problem with that screen is that it's blocked out quite a number of seats. The gentleman did tell me 7,000. I find that number a little hard to believe.
Well, that's a pretty good over from Raju. 2 runs from it. It's 98 for none.
Kumble to continue with his leg spinners. Really not doing that much out there at the moment, and they don't seem to be struggling too much with him. Does help having the left-hand, right-hand combination. And they're also changing the strike a lot. They're sharing it around. Good running between the wickets. Back for the second here. No, Mark Waugh says that'll do. I can't see the point of the move that the Indian captain's just made there. He came charging out in front of Kumble to take that return. I really don't see the point of that, because Kumble was standing in the right position over the top of the bails for the bounce throw that was coming in right on line. Azharuddin went and got in front of him. I believe that the bowler should be taking the stumps wherever possible, and that other fieldsmen should be looking to back up, not come and take the stumps. And Azharuddin got in front of him. Kumble in the end, that took him out of the game because he just turned his back on it. Waugh trying to heave that one over square leg. They've got a man back there. And that brings up the 100. Uppishly played, but into the gap once again, safely down to the fence. Raju, the fieldsman. It's a pretty quick 100 for Australia, and just as importantly is scoring the runs quickly. They haven't lost any wickets in doing it, which means that it gives players like Ponting and Steve Waugh, Michael Bevan, it gives them a licence to really go for things if they get the opportunity. It's the over, 101 without loss. That's a good start. 21 overs, 101 on the board. A number of Indian supporters that I spoke to in the lead up to this tournament and in the early stages of it, Sonny, were a little bit worried about the fact that India hadn't played a lot of tough cricket, particularly outside the country. They just weren't sure how they would react to some tough cricket. They've had some put to them today. So far, the reaction hasn't been all that India would hope for.
Yes, that was one of the fears that the Indian authorities had, that Indians might have had too long a break from international cricket, because the last international cricket game that they played was on the 29th of November, which happened to be Saeed Kirmani's benefit match, the one-day game against New Zealand. Thereafter, they have been at a camp. They've played a bit of first-class cricket, but they haven't played any international cricket. And I think that might have been just a little too big a gap. But then the other side of it is that they are fresh. They're not jaded. Mind you, it's not evident in the way they have been fielding today. There have been some good tries, but by and large, I think the fielding could have been even better.
I guess the toughest job is for the bowlers, because they are the ones who really need to have batsmen putting pressure on them all the time and learning to react to that situation and being able to maintain line and length under fire. And that's where they have struggled a bit today.
Also, I think, Ian, the batsmen need to have a go out in the middle against Kenya. Perhaps if India had batted, much more of their batting would have had a little bit of outing out in the middle.
Long on, Srinath, and he's taken it. So Mark Taylor, who played so well off the back foot, finally perishes trying to play the pull shot.
This might just be the breakthrough that the Indians are looking for. Venkatpati Raju brought in to counter the right-handed batsman in the Australian batting lineup. In fact, getting rid of the left-handed Australian captain, Mark Taylor. Taylor not getting hold of that pull shot, and Srinath had long on, making no mistake. Australia 103 for 1.
Mark Waugh will be facing Venkatapati Raju. That was Raju who got the breakthrough, and pretty decent piece of bowling here by Raju. If you look at the replay, Mark Taylor is trying to play the pull shot to a ball that he thinks is going to turn into him, and he's going to pull it through mid-wicket, but it skids straight on, catches him just a little bit earlier than he expected, and that's why he's hit it to mid-on rather than the mid-wicket area. Good bowling.
Yes, indeed, no question about it, because Venkatapati Raju, every time he's tossed the ball up, he's got the ball to turn a little bit, but this time he must have rolled his fingers over it, not really imparting any spin, and that defeated Mark Taylor's intention of hitting the ball squarer. Srinath has got a very, very safe pair of hands. So muscles Raju getting the first breakthrough for India.
And Azharuddin trying to put some pressure on the new man at the crease, Ricky Ponting. He's in there at silly mid-off. That one carried it.
Just gives you an indication of the high standards that Bombay expects of its cricketers, that they thought that he should have caught it.
Well, certainly Raju has done the job for India because he's brought the crowd back into it. But not only that, suddenly there's a spring in the step of the Indian fieldsman. Azharuddin is attacking, and in fact he's going on the attack even a little more now. Sachin Tendulkar comes to slip. Jadeja moves from just behind point out into the covers. So Azharuddin doing the job that he's got to do here to bring Australia back in this contest. Big shout, particularly from the crowd.
This is good captaincy indeed from Mohammad Azharuddin, no question about it. He's trying to put the new batsman under pressure. Perhaps the ball going straight through, missing the off stump there.
Kumble appealing to umpire Dunn. He's probably working on a lost cause there. I haven't seen much action from umpire Dunn in any of the games that he's umpired in, either in this World Cup or when we saw him in Australia. That's a good shot. Azharuddin taking it right in the shins. It's a good reply from Ricky Ponting.
The reason why you haven't seen any action from umpire Steve Dunn is because the tournament is still in its preliminary stage, so it's not quite done yet.
Also well timed by Ponting, but straight to the fieldsman. It's 103 for 1. The Indians applying a lot of pressure to the young Australian. Azharuddin is now gone off the field. Ashish Kapoor on the field, and I'd say Azharuddin might have gone to get some treatment on his knee or his shin, where he was cracked by Ricky Ponting. I must ask you about your political persuasion, Sonny. I hear Bombay from you and not Mumbai.
Thanks very much, Chappelli. I know you're a friend indeed. It does become a little difficult having spent most of the time calling it Bombay to call it Mumbai, but Mumbai it is. And that's another Mumbaikar in charge of the Indian team now. Sachin Tendulkar. He is a Mumbaikar, and he's in charge of the Indian team at the moment.
Ricky Ponting's got the silly mid-off jumping all over the place at the moment. Jadeja in that position now with Azharuddin off the field.
Nicely tossed up right in the slot, and Ponting must be feeling a little better now that he's off the mark.
Denard Camberley out in the deep. That's well run. That's well bowled. Also, I'm impressed with the temperament of Raju. He's one man I think that the batsman can't get to when they attack him. Might hit him for 6, hit him around a little bit, but he always comes back fighting. He's got a good temperament. That's beautifully hit.
This is precisely the reason why it is difficult to bowl to Mark Waugh. The ball just drifting away a little bit. It wasn't quite a bad ball, but he swept it from round about the middle stump. Batsmen prefer to sweep from outside the leg stump. The Australians prefer to sweep from anywhere on or around the off stump. That makes it even more difficult for a bowler to adjust his line and length.
He's certainly working hard as a skipper. Immediately raced over to have a chat to his bowler, Tendulkar. He's replacing Azharuddin probably only for a couple of overs. That's good batting once again. That's where the fieldsman was taken from. That's a good over for Australia. One into Bombay last night. And the lights on the drive in look absolutely fantastic at the stadium. The Australians practiced. A bit of a practice under lights. Once again, Ponting hitting that ball in the air for quite a long way.
Ricky Ponting is a predominantly bottom hand player. Brings his bottom hand into use a lot more.
Looks like a pretty good pitch, Sonny. The batsmen quite comfortable playing their shots, and there's a little bit of bounce there for the bowlers.
Yes, it's different than the normal Wankhede Stadium wicket. The normal Wankhede Stadium wicket is completely barren of grass. It's more brown in colour, but this one has a little bit more of the grass. And what this will do is definitely, when the team is batting second, help to keep it together. There won't be any dust coming out every time the ball lands. There will be a bit of turn, but it will hold it together, that little bit of grass.
That's well run by Ponting. The soil, from my memory, at Brabourne Stadium, where we played in 1969, was a reddish-looking clay. This one here at Wankhede Stadium, also reddish clay. Slightly different to other Indian centres, Sonny?
Yes, it is. The clay that they use to prepare the wicket here is a lot different than the one that they would use in the north of the country. The north of the country, you'd find wickets which are more towards creamish side, a little bit on the whiter side, while the wickets in the east are a little bit on the greener side, a lot more grass there. So if you go to Cuttack or to Eden Gardens, though they might shave off the wicket, you'll find that the outfields are a lot greener in the eastern part of the country than anywhere else. In the south, once again, the outfields, because of the weather, not as lush green as the ones in the east, and there the wickets are again barren and white.
I remember the red soil quite vividly at Brabourne Stadium, because I got it all over my socks when I was out there batting, and by the end of the game I had to throw the socks away. They were useless after just one game.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, if you use the same pair of socks for 5 days, you've got to throw it away.
Well, you didn't think I was going to waste 2 or 3 pairs, did you, son? Just get rid of the one pair. Bad luck about the bloke who was sitting next to you in the dressing room, sitting in the next locker. I was just banking on the fact that he needed a nose operation, that's all. The lights just building up in strength here at Brabourne Stadium, and it should be a fantastic atmosphere later on this evening, with India chasing a decent total. 117 for one. Steve Waugh just checking his gear there as he sits and awaits his turn at the crease. I was talking about Raju's temperament before. He seems to me to have the ideal temperament for a spin bowler. He accepts the fact that he's going to get hit around a little bit, hit for the occasional six. But he doesn't appear to be disheartened by that. In fact, as a good spinner should be, I often get the feeling that he's actually encouraged by the fact that the batsmen are going after him.
Yes, he has a mischievous smile on his face every time the batsman hits him for runs. He widens his eyes, looks at the batsman. Oh, that's a good bit of fielding there from the substitute Ashish Kapoor. Venkatpati Raju has taken his place in the side, mainly to counter the right-handed batsman in the...
Well, that's gone for six. A flat one, that's a crowd killer. But they're all looking. 50 to Mark Waugh. And both the Australian openers bringing up their half-century with the six off Venkatpati Raju.
But there again you see what Ian Chappell refers to as the crowd killer, and you know why. Not many Azharuddins in that crowd.
And a bit of a collision there between Ponting and Raju. There's that one to go down to mid-on. Yes, in all fairness to the crowd, it wouldn't be all that easy, because that ball would have been skimming through the wire that is put down there to keep the crowd off the field. And you only got to get a slight deflection off that wire, and someone really could cop a nasty blow.
But as the old coaches tell you, keep your eye on the ball. They didn't.
Once again, the pressure goes on Ricky Ponting. Slip and a silly mid-off. Each 124 for one.
Every jar of Eater peanut butter is packed with the goodness of...
Now, Barker bowling 4 overs for 21. His figures perhaps don't tell the true story there. He bowled pretty well to Mark Taylor in his first couple of overs, beat him, got an edge that didn't carry to Slip. But Taylor then went on the attack. And that counter-attack got Australia into a terrific position. And the third of the matches being played today, that's a Group A contest between a couple of the African countries. Zimbabwe up against Kenya. And Zimbabwe winning that match. Grant Flower getting 45. And Zimbabwe's total of 137 for 5 of 42.4 overs after they bowled Kenya out for 134. So Zimbabwe getting their first points in this competition. They'd lost to Sri Lanka and to the West Indies. Now they've got 2 points on the board, so they've moved ahead of Kenya. They'll be pretty happy about that. Sri Lanka on top with 2 forfeits and a victory over Zimbabwe. India on 4 points after 2 games. Australia have only played 1, but you see the number 2 there because of the forfeit to Sri Lanka. Once again, Prabhakar hits the edge, but there's no slip in this time. That's good fielding there by Prasad. Kept it to 1.
Prabhakar bowling the slowish off spinner. He mixes that up very, very well. And Prasad doing a good job at deep third man. Manoj Prabhakar has been used by the Indian captain to bowl in the slog overs.
And Tendulkar still in charge out there, so that blow that Azharuddin took to the leg, maybe up as high as the knee. And it certainly was looked to be around the shin area. Would have been a bit worse than what we thought. It's a rather wild throw there from Ashish Kapoor, and some more poor fielding, this time from Srinath. And the Australians making him pay, and you reckon Manoj Prabhakar is not cranking, and he's entitled to be.
Well, Srinath did very, very well to get to that overthrow from and the ball is not very far away from him. He's having a look at the fielder who was backing him. It was good enough for the Australians to take that extra run.
Tendulkar. And that's well fielded. It's 131 for 1.
Hey, what's the hurry?
So applied a lot of pressure to Ricky Ponting, but Nakor has picked up the pace. Just short of the bowler. It's well bowled. He saw Mark Waugh coming.
Venkatpati Raju dropping the ball a little short, and he certainly is making the batsman think, Venkatpati Raju. When a bowler gets predictable, that the batsman can anticipate. Here you see Mark Waugh going down the wicket in anticipation of a flighted delivery, but Raju bowling a flatter delivery.
Once again, Sachin Tendulkar keeping the pressure on Ponting, man in close. By doing that, that's the way the Indians have dragged that run rate back under 5, making life difficult for the young Australian at the moment. You talked about that mischievous grin on Raju's face. We saw it on the train. He came down to visit us when we were on that train trip from Gwalior to Delhi. He had that mischievous grin on his face, and he's a good character, Venkatpati Raju, and a good bowler.
Yes, he enjoyed the chat with the opposition after the day's play is done. And he has a great sense of humour. Very popular member of the Indian team, Venkatpati Raju.
It's well bowled. 133 for 1.
The Storm.
Now quite powerful. Gambley, and they're testing him out. Well run.
Ricky Ponting, one of the quicker runners in the Australian team. As soon as he'd hit that ball and seen where the fielder was, he was herring around for his first run. Although calmly, didn't have a long distance to throw, Ponting was home safe. Excellent running between the wickets. This is an aspect where the Indians can learn from the Australians.
Barker, one of those bowlers who appears to change gears in his run-up, very much like John Price of England back in the 70s, although Price used to have about 5 changes of gear. Manoj he just gets into overdrive about halfway into the run-up.
When Prabhakar is running between the wickets, we call him a scooter. The scooters have limited speed, and that's Prabhakar. There's where he accelerates.
Maybe he's another one of those people who believes in conserving energy, Sonny.
Or using it at the right time, Ian. Manoj Prabhakar started his career trying to run like Imran Khan. In the middle somewhere he tried to run like Richard Hadley. And now I think he's running in like Manoj Prabhakar.
Prasad at third man. So with the lights on here, Wankhede. What time will it get dark this time of the year, Sonny?
Another hour or so, I think the sun should go down. But till the Australian innings lasts, which is presumably till 6 o'clock, I think the light should be good enough. But the light does go down a little later now. If it had been played in December, the light would have gone at about 5:15.
Single there to Mark Waugh. It's 139 for 1. Most vantage points being taken up around the Wankhede Stadium here in Mumbai, as Australia have moved to 139 for 1. In the commentary position now, Ravi Shastri and Tony Greig.
Thanks, Ian. Yes, there's that run rate, 4.79. It's been hovering around about there for a while now. The only man out, Mark Taylor, for a magnificent 59. 84 balls really helped get this innings going after being pretty sluggish so far in the World Cup. He seemed to me to go out there with a mission, and he's got his team off to a flyer. And now it's up to Mark Waugh. He's on 62. And really, he's got to take the dominant role now while Ponting just plays himself in. Plenty of batting to come in this Aussie lineup. It's going to be a big score, Ravi.
Well, the opening stand has given the Australians a launching pad where they can accelerate. But ever since Mark Taylor was dismissed by Venkatpati Raju, the boundaries have been hard to come by, and the runs have been coming in 1s and 2s. Here you see the Indian captain taking some treatment. A bit of turn again there for Venkatpati Raju. This has been a good spell from him, in spite of being hit for a couple of sixes, but he has varied his pace and he's got the odd ball to spin and bounce.
As you can see, that one certainly straightening down the line. In the air, and what a catch! Unbelievable catch! You little beauty. Sanjay Mandraker diving away. He took that in his fingertips. Now, that's the sort of fielding that can change matches. He only just got there. That's one of the best so far this World Cup.
So a little bit of extra bounce here for Venkatpati Raju. And Ricky Ponting unable to control it. But have a look at that for a catch. Magnificent catch by Sanjay Mandraker. Diving to his right. 140 for 2 Australia.
So Stephen Waugh is the new batsman, 2 wickets to Raju, and what a good one that last one was. They really did need to get rid of another Aussie batsman, and they got rid of Ricky Ponting. 191 matches, look at that record, an average of 31, a very good strike rate. Oh, and that's well bowled too. Raju bowling well.
Really has been a good spell from Venkatpati Raju. This is the wicket of Ricky Ponting, unable to keep that cut shot down. And Sanjay Manjrekar throwing himself to his right and coming up with the ball inches from the ground. Just what the doctor ordered for India.
So Stephen Waugh off the mark. Will he come back for the second? Yes, he's on his way back. Good running. So 3 runs and a wicket in that over. What a good catch that was. Sanjay Manjrekar. This is another angle for you. Got underneath it a little bit, so it went up, but it looked as if it was going to be out of his reach, and right in his fingertips. That was the end of that. You watch his reaction here. He was pretty happy about that one. And I can tell you that there are about 38 or 40,000 people who are pretty happy about it as well. Watch this again. Just watch the ball here. It's just off the ground. So that one picked up inches off the ground.
Well, this really is the time the Indians can put pressure on the Australians. They have lost that important wicket of Ricky Ponting. And with Raju bowling so well at the moment, it's important that Manoj Prabhakar doesn't experiment too much. Just bowls within his limitations to a good line and length, and let the batsman take chances.
Because I think you might see this catch replayed a few times during this World Cup. Manjrekar, the fieldsman there, Ricky Ponting, as I said, getting underneath it. And there we go. Beautifully taken. And the crowd, did they go mad? Well, they needed a wicket or two. They've now got 2. The Australians 2 down for 142. Stephen Waugh is out there with his brother. Oh, you've gone bowl full tosses on leg stump to Mark Waugh. He's just whipped that one away down towards deep mid-wicket. Will he come back for the 3rd? Yes, he's coming back. This is good running as well. Steve Waugh just stretching a little bit there. Asking the question and wanting the umpire to go for the replay, but I think you'll find that Steve Waugh was home.
Well, good throw here from the deep, but Steve Waugh was always coming back for the 3rd run. And in the end made it quite comfortably. He had to stretch out there. The problem was if his bat was in the air or not. But in the end, did make his ground comfortably. Always a close call when you do have the 3rd umpire. And when you get a run out as close as that, the umpire doesn't call for the action replay. It can be dangerous at times.
And there's his guard, and that's the view down the pitch. Stephen Waugh just takes a little time to get himself settled in. They really want to get him out quickly, otherwise these brothers Waugh are dangerous. So there we are, the only player to score over 4,000 runs and take over 150 wickets in one-day internationals. He's got plenty of experience. And once he gets going too, he's a prolific scorer of runs. It's a very high price on his wicket.
He really is an accumulator, Steve Waugh. Nothing flashy about his batting, but he picks up the 1s and 2s and never afraid to dispatch the loose delivery.
As during the Australians' last match, they put on 207 in their partnership. That's the best ever partnership in World Cup cricket. Looking for the 1s at the moment. Tidy over, 3 runs from it, 145 for 2.
Stopping a cover drive from Ricky Ponting. That's why he went into the dressing room for some treatment. But he's out now and in control.
Oh, well fielded too. Straight away into the action, Nasruddin. Full length to his right. He really is a good fielder.
He certainly saved a run here because this was played wide of long off. Nazaruddin diving to his right, managing to stop the ball.
This is the 32nd over in this 50-over contest, being played here in Mumbai, or what used to be Bombay. And looking for a card back. So obviously keen to break this partnership, especially get rid of the new batsman. That's Steve Waugh on strike at the moment. They've got a silly point and a slip-in position.
Because with still over 18 overs left, India do need to pick up wickets. The Australians have 8 wickets in hand and could get a total of around 270, 275. And here Nazaruddin attacking by keeping a man in there at silly point.
Going for the sweep shot there, and perhaps there was a little bit of bat in it. Just a little frustration creeping into the Steve Waugh game as a result of that silly point that was pitched a little straighter, trying to get it away square. Straight to mid-wicket. He really has performed well. That's Stuart Law, Shane Warne, and in the background there, the Australian captain, Mark Taylor, played really well. In comes the throw, and that would have been close. 2 runs off the over, 147 for 2. Let's have a quick look at that, what looked like it might have been a close call for Stephen Waugh, trying to go for that quick single. And the throw came in very quickly. Waugh having to stretch down that far end. Had it been a direct hit, yes, it would have been pretty close, probably out by a couple of inches. As it turned out, it didn't hit. So Stephen Waugh back without any drama. Those are the figures so far. 2 for 36 off 8. Raju. And those 2 wickets certainly slowing things up a little bit. Jalaguru Srinath to continue. It's a packed stadium. They've come alive a little bit now that they've got a couple of wickets. They went quiet there for a while, Ravi.
It certainly did, because the Australian batsmen dominated the Indian bowling. They played some lovely shots. And the Indian crowd at that stage had very little to cheer until Sanjay Manjrekar took that magnificent catch to dismiss Ricky Ponting.
He's had a go at that one. He likes him outside off stump, very strong in that area. Will he come back for the second? Doubt it. It's picked up cleanly. In comes the throw, very wide. And Mungia just struggling a little bit to pick that one up and hurting his finger.
Oh man, Mungia here takes off one of his gloves, prepared to throw the ball, and in fact gets hit right at the end of his fingers, and that can really hurt.
It's better angling that one in at the right-hander, not giving him much room. Australia got themselves now to 148 for 2. Tremendous launching pad. We could have been for some big hitting here. This crowd could be entertained. Not that that's what they want to see. They want to see a few more wickets. Giving himself a bit of room there and nudging that one away down to third man. So he's starting to compromise a little bit. You can see there that he would move backwards in order to get it away to third man.
He doesn't mind taking risks at this stage. Still a lot of batting to come for Australia. and Mark Ward down the track and giving himself some room. They've still got Stuart Law, Michael Bevan, Ian Healy, Shane Lee to follow.
It's a lovely shot. So comfortably played. Such an elegant batsman. Yes, they've come from far and wide to watch this game, this cricket mad city. Every Amar, Akbar and Anthony has turned up here at the Wankhede Stadium.
Tony, you got that right.
Yes, is it the Hindu equivalent of Tom, Dick and Harry? And a shy down the non-striker's end. It's hit Stephen Waugh, and as a result says we won't go for another one. That is the over, and drinks are coming out onto the ground. The Australians after 33 overs. So the Australians 152 for 2, and so far Taylor and Ponting. Now going back to the season of '85, my co-commentator had a big day down in Australia. Great prizes in cricket, and there he is. Is receiving the award for the player of the series, and I can tell you that that's a very nice motor car you won there, Robbie. Well, you know, you brought it back here, an Audi.
Performance here today, but in that tournament, Indians were unbeaten. They won all the 5 games and beat Pakistan in the final.
Little Tendulkar was there as well, sitting on the roof of the car. So out in the centre, the Coke truck taking a bit of time to get off the ground. He's having to quietly negotiate himself back in there. You would have thought he could have driven the thing out and then just got himself fixed up. The umpire out there, umpire Shepherd, not impressed at all with the goings on. And they've decided to unbuckle the Coke bottle now and quietly push it off. Well, there we go. Yes, and just on that subject of cars, this season, after the semi-final, there'll be another car on up for grabs for the player of the World Cup, and it's also an Audi. And there it is, it's a magnificent vehicle, filmed this morning.
Well, this car, this fabulous new A4, is for the most valuable player of this 1996 Women's World Cup tournament. German technology at its very best. Automatic windows, 1,600cc engine. Really is a fantastic car.
That's nicely played. That's cut away beautifully, going down towards the fence, picked up there by Camberley, and it's coming back in his throw. A good one too. Yes, that A4 is a good size for Mumbai as well. It needs something zippy to get around the streets of this place, that's for sure, and reliable, what's more. It's a pretty good little number. So the Audi A4 going to be taken away by the player of this World Cup, and that will be decided after the final match in the semi-final. So before the actual final, some lucky player, could be one of the Waugh brothers, Tendulkar, a few of them out there will be candidates.
A lot of players in the running for that car. We've had some outstanding performances already so far in this World Cup.
We swept that one away nicely, but that area is covered. The Waughs have both played some blistering sweep shots. Mark Waugh hit one back into the crowd, as flat as a tack. When Robertson beat to the bat and just kept going. Had the Indians diving for cover over at square leg.
That certainly went like a Scud missile, and both these batsmen sweeping square of the wicket.
Straight back to that may be out. Yes, he's given him. He's gone. That's very unlucky. What a way to go. Well, run out by your brother off a straight drive. In fact, Raju got a finger on that one. It deflected onto the stumps, and that's the end of Steve Waugh. He's a prolific scorer of runs, and this is one of the few ways you get him out these days. That's very unlucky.
Well, this is the type of luck the Indians needed at this stage, and so very easily can change the course of this game. Driven back by Mark Waugh, Venkatpati Raju just getting his fingers on the ball and then hitting the stumps, and Mark Waugh a foot out of his ground. Most unfortunate. 157 for 3 Australia.
That's well bowled. 157 for 3. Stuart Law, the new batsman, 16 matches, so while he's had plenty of experience at state level, not that much at this level. He's got an average of 30. He's a pretty good cricketer. He's already made 100. That was against Zimbabwe and Hobart in the season of 94-95 this season. This is the wicket again. Just watch the deflection off the fingers down the other end. Just tipped his fingers and hit the middle stump. And that was the end of Steve Waugh. What a way to go.
Well, big wicket this for India, because Steve Waugh is the in-form Australian.
He is a character, all right. He'll probably at the end of the day be claiming that he just deflected it onto the stumps. That's well bowled, and once again Mongia starting to go up, but I think he missed that by quite a long way. Good delivery though. I suppose it would be fair to say that Steve Waugh shouldn't have been caught that far out of his ground. Look at the little tip there, little tip onto his stumps. And look where he was. He was way down the pitch. One would have to say that he would have to have been out of his ground as the ball went out of the hand. So just a little bit too far down the pitch. You've really got to give yourself half a chance to get back, especially when you've got a good straight driver batting at the other end. Well, he had no chance on that occasion.
Well, he's had a good day, Venkatpati Raju. A couple of wickets, and then they've run out. He looks up into the heavens and scored. Thanks God for that dismissal. But you can certainly see a spring in the strides of the Indians at the moment.
It always makes a huge difference when a wicket falls. Stuart Law's in at the moment. Michael Bevan is due to come in next. Healy and then Lee. Lee's a big hitter as well. Warren can bat. And then, of course, Fleming and McGrath. So a good batting lineup. And Steve Waugh back in the pavilion. So you wouldn't be too impressed with that one. Full toss down the leg side, and that's got to be 4. Yes, that's bad bowling. Money for old rope, that is. Well, a full toss in on leg stump at this level, and you're asking for trouble.
Well, his captain would be very disappointed with this, because Stuart Law is the new player in. And Srinath experimenting here, trying the Yorker, drifting it on the leg stump, and Stuart Law had no problem in dispatching it to the fence. The first boundary for Australia, that in 9 overs.
Yes, it gives you some idea of how the Indians have just pulled them back a little bit. They were going superbly and smashing them all over the place. But once Ponting got out, it just slowed up a little bit. Well, that's good running. Stuart Law just pushing that one on the offside. Stuart Law plays for Queensland, lives up in Brisbane.
Just watching him on television earlier this summer, Stuart Law seems to be a player who has a lot of time to play the quicks, gets into a very good position, play shots freely on either side of the wicket, and comes across as a lovely timer of the ball.
Again, a shy at the stumps, good backing up. They seem to be getting a few singles in that area. That's the over, 163 for 3.
The crowd twice, that makes it 3 times now.
Well, Mark was now decided to open his shoulders. The ball not quite flighted, but just in the right slot. You don't want to get too close to the ball when you step down the wicket, if you want to hit it over the top, and that's exactly what Mark was done.
Despite being hit out of the park 3 times, and Padipati Raju has done a good job. Picked up 2 wickets. He was involved in the run out of Steve Waugh. So it's been a very good World Cup for Mark Waugh. Century against Kenya, and he's well on the way here at the Wankhede Stadium. Apart from expressing fears about the fact that India haven't played a lot of tough cricket lately, the fans who are very knowledgeable on cricket in this country have also is it caught or just bounced? I think the way Tendulkar has reacted, that it just bounced in front of him.
Not the kind of delivery you want to face when you're new to the wicket. And Stuart Law edging that one just short of Tendulkar. But Stuart Law did well, didn't push at it, just checked his shot.
That's the end of Raju's spell. It's 170 for 3 back at the Tata end. Barker 7 overs for 37. Srinath 8 overs for 32. Prasad 5 for 27. Kumble 6 overs for 24. And Raju, who bowled well, 10 overs, no maidens, 2 for 48. Yes, that other fear that has been expressed by Indian fans is that the Indian run rate, or maintaining a good run rate, is very dependent on Sachin Tendulkar, and they believe that if Tendulkar goes early, then the other batsmen might not necessarily get out, but they will find it difficult to maintain the sort of run rate that that Tendulkar can. Do you see that as a problem, Sonny?
Well, yes, I think he's the one who shows the way.
Cambley.
Like that man on your monitor, Vinod Kambli, if he gets going, then there won't be a major problem for India in chasing any target. But the Indian batting has suffered in the past from not being able to score too many in the first 15 and not too many in the last 15 overs as well.
Yes, I think the fans are perhaps selling some of the other players a bit short. Mohammad Azharuddin is one man that I've got a lot of respect for as a player. I thought Cambley looked in good form the other night against the West Indies. He was told that he'd had some trouble with the short pitch delivery. Well, he seemed to handle that well at Gwalior. And Mandraker is a player I've got a bit of time for. I think he's a good batsman.
Yes, it will not be easy for Sanjay Manjrekar to make a comeback because he's been out of the team for the first 2 matches. Now Jyot Sidhu has played in place of Sanjay Manjrekar. But there is also Ajay Jadeja. And Ajay Jadeja has the ability to keep the scoreboard moving because he runs very quickly between the wickets. What number Sanjay Manjrekar bats today will be interesting to watch because he likes to get a little time to settle down.
That was the bluff job, I think, there from bowler and keeper, just trying to hope, or hoping that they took the umpire out of calling that one a wide. They had success from the mostly motionless umpire Dunn. Fielded, and a direct hit there would have had Stuart Law on his way. In fact, Stuart Law had conceded. It's 175 for 3. Is in terrific form. Both players have a century to their name already. Mark Waugh is well on his way to a second one. Tendulkar was on his way to a second century before he was dismissed against the West Indies. Tendulkar was almost involved in a run out last ball of last over.
Well, this is the feature of the Australian running between the wickets. A non-striker backs up so much that often they are able to take singles which are non-existent. This time they were fortunate that Tendulkar didn't hit the stumps.
Stuart Law started to respond to that call, and by the time he started to respond, Mark Waugh had given up all hope of a single.
Well, with that kind of a backing up, there is bound to be the occasional misunderstanding, but more often than not, it results in runs.
Certainly they've come along in a festive mood, crowd here in Mumbai. Raju down at long on. What was the term you had for them? They used to be Bombayites, didn't they, Sonny? What was the new term for Mumbai?
Well, for Bombayites, you call them Mumbaikar. Now, the word K-A-R, Kar, is used to signify the place you come from. So, obviously, Sachin Tendulkar comes from a place called Tendul, so he's called Tendulkar.
It's 180 for 3. A lot of stadiums in this area. We have Brabourne Stadium, which is the old test ground here in Mumbai. And there's a hockey stadium just next to Wankhede Stadium. You noticed it looked to be an artificial hockey surface out the back of the Wankhede Stadium. Obviously, hockey, a very popular game in this country as well. A game that India play pretty well.
And just behind the north stand, you have the University Sports Stadium. Bombay University, which is now Mumbai University. Quite a few stadiums in this area.
From what they tell me about the cost of real estate in Mumbai, some of these stadiums would be worth a pretty penny.
Indeed, there would be no question about it. In fact, recent surveys show that Bombay is probably the most expensive as far as land prices are concerned, even more expensive than Tokyo. This is just the skyline shot of Mumbai. That is the hotel opposite the Cricket Club of India.
Australians really testing out the Indian fielders now. They're running between wickets.
They're running between the wickets, very, very aggressive. Stuart Law, of course, is fresher. He's just come into bat. And therefore, after reaching his end, he's just checking if Mark was coming back through. And that's the stadium in the background, the Wankhede Stadium. That's the Rajabai Tower.
What is the population of Mumbai, Sunil?
About half an hour ago, it was 12.5 million. In that half an hour, I cannot possibly tell you how much it has increased. Possibly not much, because of the quality of the television commentary in recent times. People have a lot more things to do than produce babies.
Five runs off that over.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ansett Australia is proud to be a major sponsor.
Certainly seems like there's been a lot of work done around the city since the last time I was here, which I must admit is a long time ago, Sonny, but a lot of work been done around the city.
It certainly has been.
That's a bad piece of fielding by Tendulkar.
That's the Taj Hotel, and to the right it's the Gateway of India.
Kumble has kept a couple of the Australian batsmen quiet. Ponting, he troubled. Troubling Stuart Law a bit, asking for the front foot LBW, although Law wasn't that far onto the front foot. There is a bit of bounce in this pitch.
The presence of that fielder at Silly Point is definitely not encouraging the Stuart Law to go fully forward. The fear of the bad pad to Silly Point.
As you would expect, Mark Waugh has played Kumble quite well. Mark Waugh has excellent footwork. I think the best footwork of any of the Australian players. And, he's played Kumble quite well. Mark Taylor, being left-hander, also played him comfortably while he was there. It's 187 for 3. Mark Waugh looking for back-to-back centuries in this World Cup, having made one at Vizag against Kenya. It's a rare performance, back-to-back centuries in the World Cup. It's nicely placed by Stuart Law. Our statistician, Max Kruger, going through the records. He can't find anybody who has made back-to-back centuries in the World Cup. Would be quite a remarkable performance from Mark Waugh. He certainly doesn't look as tired as he did Vizag, where it was a lot hotter. Obviously, being a day-night game helps. And somebody's trying to help India along. They've floated a kite out into the middle of the ground. Had it hovering over Stuart Law while he was facing up. I guess that's a variation on the old theme, Sonny, of flashing the mirrors in the batsman's eyes.
And kite flying, though it's been an old sport, certainly new as far as the cricket grounds are concerned.
Beautifully timed by Mark Waugh. Guess I'm talking to the wrong man when I'm talking about mirrors being flashed in batsmen's eyes. I guess the Indian crowds weren't flashing them in your eyes, were they?
Of course not. I mean, they wouldn't do a thing like that, would they? I mean, that would be tough on them. Unless, of course, they wanted me to get out. The Australian running between the wickets once again, very aggressive. The ball not too far away from Mohammad Azharuddin, who's, as we all know, a brilliant fielder, but he also realized that Mark Waugh is going to make the crease easily.
That's good Yorker trouble for Law, but once again Tendulkar can't quite hit. The Australians can afford to take these risks because they have such a good batting lineup. Stuart Law realising he's been a bit fortunate.
Just when you've got to start as Taylor and Waugh provided, the momentum is kept up. Batsman can afford to take risks, whether it's taking singles, sharp singles, or even trying to hit good balls.
It's 195 for 3. Stuart Law is on 13. 9 overs to go, and Australia 195. So that's a big score looming. Well, Australia have had a couple of setbacks in the bowling department, as we see a change here for India. It's going to be Javagal Srinath at the pavilion end. Yes, the Australians losing McDermott, who is on his way home now. He's going to be replaced by Jason Gillespie of South Australia. And Paul Reichel also out of this match because of injury. And it's very close. Now I am probably talking to the right man, Sonny. Jason Gillespie wasn't in the original squad of 18. In fact, wasn't even in the squad of 20 for Australia. How come he's been allowed as a replacement? You're on the technical committee?
Well, the technical committee has only got to see if a replacement should be given or not. They have taken into account the extent of the injury, the time it will take for the injury to recover, and then say whether there should be a replacement or not. But they are not in any way concerned about whether it should be from the 18 or the 20.
And that's the 100 for Mark Waugh. Back-to-back centuries. That's a magnificent performance.
Indeed, it is, no question about it. Mark Waugh has been instrumental in getting Australia off to a brilliant start once again. He was overshadowed for a period by his captain Mark Taylor, who took the initiative from the Indian bowlers, but Mark Waugh has bided his time and he's been rewarded with another century. Of only 120 deliveries, he's got 2 sixes in that as well.
He's really on the charge now. This time they get the direct hit, but Stuart Law's in his crease. First player ever to score back-to-back centuries in the World Cup competition. That's a terrific achievement for Mark Waugh. We're in the 6th World Cup, and he's the first man to do it.
Man Mongia a lot more accurate than some of the Indian fielders, but of no use because Stuart Law was well within the crease. Australia's 200 coming of 251 balls.
Mark Waugh maintaining his career strike rate there up in the 80s in this innings, which is about on par with his career strike rate. No wonder he's such a good man at the top of the order. His record since he, or on the occasions when he's opened, is average is almost double when he's batting as an opener what it is when he bats elsewhere. That's his overall average of 36, and as an opener it's getting up there towards double. In fact, it is now with this century more than double. Well, there's another crowd killer. Fortunately for the crowd, it's just a touch short.
Now, which gear is Mark Waugh stepping into, Ian? Because this was really a cracker of a shot. Srinath trying to dart the ball into him, trying to cramp him. But all that Srinath ended doing up was getting the ball into the right position for that shot into the crowd.
I just hope he doesn't step out of the green and gold gear, Sonny. That can get you into trouble if people start taking pictures. Third 6 for Mark Waugh. He hit 2 off Venkatapati Raju. Srinath has been put under the hammer here. It's 209 for 3 is India, and this will give the Australians a good psychological advantage if they do meet India later in the competition. Mark Waugh has hit 3 sixes, the third of them coming off the bowling of Srinath.
Well, Srinath trying to get that ball to nip back in to try and cramp the flow of Mark Waugh's arms. Didn't quite manage to do that, did he?
Got a hypothetical question for a member of the technical committee, Sonny. There was a rumour going around that Australia might try and get Tim May out as a replacement for Craig McDermott. How would the technical committee have looked upon that? A totally different type of bowler.
It would have been no concern of the technical committee at all. We just look at the extent of injury and decide whether a replacement should be given. And that's what the technical committee did. We were not at all concerned who the replacement was to be, whether it was to be from the 18-20, could have been from any of the Australian population for all we care. But all we were concerned with was to ensure that the injury was serious enough for McDermott to be replaced.
So who does the decision depend on then?
Well, the technical committee meets and then decides whether a replacement is to be given or not. and then that decision is conveyed to the convener secretary of the Philcom, Mr. Dalmia, who in turn then conveys it to the respective boards.
That's good bowling. Unfortunately, not quite as accurate as Manoj Prabhakar would have liked. Just missed leg.
And Manoj Prabhakar has done a good job for India in the slog overs, because not only does he mix his deliveries well, but because he is one of the few Indian bowlers who can bowl that Yorker well. This time he wasn't as accurate as he normally is, and so Mark Waugh survives.
It's 213 for 3. Is the mascot for this World Cup. Not the nickname for Australia's medium pace all-rounder who's been included in this game. In the commentary position now, Ravi Shastri and Turner Greg.
Thanks, Ian. Well, 213 for 3 is a good score by any standards. Sure, this outfield is quick, and it's not a huge ground either. The wicket's pretty good, but I think the real reason is that Mark Waugh has played superbly. 112, and we shouldn't forget Taylor's contribution in the early stages too. We smashed that one back, and that's well fielded.
Well, he certainly is throwing caution to the winds now with Mark Waugh. He knows the Australians have 7 wickets in hand, and they are in a position where they can put the pressure on the bowlers now.
That's well played. He's cut that one beautifully. It's gone back at a point. Cambley running around there to pick it up, and he will.
Yes, with 40 balls remaining now, the Australians could be in here for a score of about 270, 275, which would put a lot of pressure on the Indian batsmen.
Got that one away down towards wide mid-wicket, and that'll go for 4 as well. Well, this is good batting. They really can throw caution to the wind. We're going to see some entertaining batting in this little period. And look at that group of Aussies up there having an absolute ball. I think that might have been the White Water Sports group.
Well, they've been treated to some magnificent batting from Mark Waugh here, picking the spot where he wanted to hit. I mean, down the track to Anil Kumble and piercing the field on the onside. He really has played Kumble well.
Yes, those striped tops there, the Australians have come over with the 9 White Water Sports group. They've got their caps and shirts on there, and clearly having a tremendous time. Good seats too. What an atmosphere. They'll be soaking up here. This is a ground with a difference. Oh, and the fumble. That was a nasty bounce. I don't think he picked that one up, actually. It was on him in a flash. Just one.
Well, if he even picked this one, he picked it up very late, and to top it, he got a bad bounce there, Azharuddin, because he is not one of those fielders who misfields too often.
It's sometimes quite hard to pick it up out of the crowd. Pick that one up all right. So this is the 44th over. 6 to go after this. They've got to 220. So let's say they score at 8 and over. It's another, say, 50-odd runs. I'm going to nudge up close to 300. Well, that's in the air. It's going away. No, it won't be caught. Well, just for a second, it looked as if it was going straight up. They got the single. It's 8 runs from that over. 221 for 3. It's nicely played away on the offside. Come back for the second. Beautiful ground to watch cricket from, especially down at ground level. And there's a group there watching the proceedings. That is Gene Swinstead. He's from Adelaide, actually. He's the head of Star in India. There's one of his colleagues there, and Charles and Monica Cottier. Charles Cottier is a very, very well-known architect, probably the best-known architect in India, with his wife. It's Adi Godrej sitting there next to Monica. Adi Godrej is one of the biggest industrialists here, next to his wife Parmesh. Parmesh Godrej, they're two of them very big operators here, and of course Mr. and Mrs. Mascarenas watching their big screen.
And he's blushing, Tony. He's hearing us.
And it's fumbled, so they get another single. Yes, this place certainly is alive with activity. All sorts of happenings here. Great parties going on. You live in a good town, Robbie.
Well, absolutely no regrets. It's a happening place, this Bombay, full of life. Very much similar to Sydney in Australia.
Try to sweep that one away. It's hit the pad. Yes, these pictures going to South Africa via the SABC, Channel 9 and Optus in Australia, taking the pictures to TVNZ, Sky in Europe, Star TV in Asia, and of course Doordarshan also showing these pictures around India. It's a huge audience, and plenty of them will be plugged into this all-important match in Wankhede Stadium here in Mumbai. Straight down the ground, almost took the umpire's head off. One bounce, two bounces into the fence for four. Well, there's a flat back smash.
Well, Mark Waugh here is climbing into this Indian attack. It's a slower ball from Manoj Prabhakar, the off break, but Mark has been there long enough to handle those kind of deliveries. Just smashed it back past him.
He's gone after that one as well, but they've got to widen it off on the fence, so they'll come back for the second. Will they? No, they won't. 10 runs from that over. 231 for 3. 1 for 3. Kumble is going to continue. Mind you, and shouldn't lose sight of the fact that the Indians have got a pretty good batting lineup themselves. Doesn't quite get hold of that one. It'll go to square leg for 1. No, he wants 2. He's coming back. And, well, this has got to be close. He's given him out, yes. Well, Waugh doesn't think he was out. In fact, I think he probably expected the umpire to call for a replay. He didn't. That's umpire done down there. Normally pretty cautious. He's given him out. Well, let's have a look at the replay.
Well, good piece of fielding this by Venkatesh Prasad. Mark Waugh looking to hit the ball wide of mid-on, but in the end managing to drag it to square leg. Prasad coming in quickly, and a flat return to Mongia. Just catching Mark Waugh out of his ground. Umpire Steve Dunn not needing the third umpire. And Australia lose their 4th wicket, 232 for 4. The end of a magnificent innings for Mark Waugh.
So Michael Bevan is the new batsman, and I can tell you he's very quick between the wickets. 27 matches all up. Look at that average, 75.2. An average of 77. And straight away he's played that one off the meat of the bat and got himself away for 2. Well, it'll be interesting to have a look at another angle on that replay. I think that Waugh actually didn't have his bat down. We'll see now when he comes in. The batsman on the other end didn't want it. Here he comes. You can see his bat's in the air. In fact, it was on the ground, but he was out.
Well, that wicket coming just in the nick of time for the Indians, because Mark Waugh was beginning to explode out there in the middle. 126 runs coming in only 135 balls. Clear indication of how he dominated this Indian attack.
Well, it's a lovely time to come in this. I'm going to throw caution to the wind, really get stuck in. Will this be a run out? No, it won't.
One thing for sure is that with Michael Bevan coming to the crease, Stuart Law will have to do a lot more running. So he's one of the quickest runners between the wickets, and really made his ground quite easy.
Yes, if Bevan's running to the danger end, very seldom will they get him. Got him, caught and bowled. That's very well done. He tried to drive that straight down the ground. Never looked like doing anything other than taking the catch. Safe. Caught and bowled by Kumble. Wickets tumbling.
A good piece of bowling this by Anil Kumble. Just holding this one back. Stuart Law looking to play that on the onside, or stopping on him a bit, and in the end only managing to give a simple catch back to Anil Kumble. 237 for 5 Australia.
So that's the first. It really is a question of going flat out now. Well, 2 wickets in that over. Let's have a look at, he's the new batsman, Shane Lee. He's got a fantastic strike rate, only averages 13, but he scores his runs at over a run a ball. He's out there at the moment, and he's out there because of this wicket. This is how it happened. It was hit straight back to Kumble, and no trouble with the catch there at all. Straight into those safe hands. Caught and bowled, so that's the end of Stuart Law. And now, because they've got so much batting, they can just keep going.
But still, those wickets are handy for India, because it could make the difference between a score of 280 or 300, especially when you have a man who's set in there.
Yes, it certainly does make a difference. 2 new batsmen out there, and this has brought the Indian crowd alive. So Michael Bevan having a little glance around now. He's a past master of getting the ball into the gaps and then running 2s and 3s. Probably, well, I don't know anyone else. He probably is the quickest between wickets that I've seen. Well, have a look at Shane Lee. He's coming back to the danger end. Bevan just trotting away. He doesn't look as if he's going very fast, but he is very, very quick. Gone past 5. No, and he's got to go back. So I think Shane Lee's so pumped up about Bevan's running between the wickets, he's decided to give himself a bit of a start.
Especially if he's going to the danger end. And luckily for him, yeah, Mohammad Azharuddin not too close to the ball there.
Got that one away on the onside. This time they'll settle for 1. Right, now what can Shane Lee do? He's very big and strong, powerful character. If he hits them, they'll stay hit. As if it's beginning to get just a little bit dusty out there. The crowd want another wicket here. Down the ground, will Bevan come back? Probably will. Yes, here he comes. No trouble at all.
It's so handy to have a batsman who can run the way Michael Bevan can. For most batsmen, that would have been a single.
Oh, this is going to be out by miles. Yes, they're both standing down the same end. Well, that's a tragedy. Bevan is the man to go, and he's the one they wanted out there. However, this is the way things do happen in one-day cricket. Towards the end, they do end up getting themselves run out because they take so many chances. Just let's have a look and see exactly what happened here. Pushed away behind square. Bevan running to the danger end, wanted to run. And he ended up down there with Shane Lee, who decided not to go. So that was the end of that. Jadeja, the man running down there and taking the bails off. So Michael Bevan, 5 balls for his 6 out run out, and Australia 244 for 6. 244 for 6 of 46.5 overs. So after this ball, there'll be 3 overs to go. Ian Healy is the new batsman. Kabaka 2 here, but Healy will bring a little bit of sense to all this. Well, they've lost a few wickets in quick succession, and this is really good news from India's point of view.
Well, this is the wicket of Shane Lee. He's watching the ball here as he plays it on the offside. And if he had actually gone through for a single there, Michael Bevan would have made his ground. But unfortunately, both batsmen at the same end, and Michael Bevan had to go back to the pavilion. Important wickets these for India, because at one stage it looked as if Australia would reach a score of 280. But the brakes have been put on now, with Australia losing those 4 quick wickets.
Yes, it's amazing. Once Mark Waugh left the crease, things really did slow down. So the run rate now has dropped a bit. It's 5.21. Ian Healy is out there. Again, as we mentioned earlier, he's a very, very good wicketkeeper batsman. Fast scorer too. At the side bowling, and that one just bounced a little bit. Just nudged away on the onside, so Lee gets himself a single. It gives Healy the strike.
Well, Venkatesh Prasad will have to mix things up here. We saw him bowling the slower one effectively in the game against the West Indies. This is the time he'll have to use it. Vary his pace, not allow the batsman to get into any sort of pattern.
That's that slower ball Ravi Shastri was talking about. And it did confuse Healy just a little bit. He managed to get bat on ball, just pushed it back to the bowler. It's definitely an important part of the bowler's makeup. You can watch his fingers there. He actually bowls it like a leg cutter. And that was nicely fielded too. Not easy to get down there quickly. It came out sort of top of his middle finger, rolling over in leg cutter fashion. Decidedly slower. So you've got to be able to bowl variations in pace. Third man will cut that one off. So I'm looking forward to seeing Shane Warne bowl. We'll try and capture the different deliveries he bowls, especially for the benefit of our Indian viewers who haven't seen that much of him on super slow-mo. One of the tremendous advantages of the super slow-mo machine is that you can show the leg spinner, the top spinner, the googly, and all the variations that he's got. And he'll be out there later this evening giving it a rip. Off the pad.
And one certainly won't be surprised if he gets some spin out there in the middle, because it's a dry wicket. We saw a little bit of dust coming out there. And Shane Warne spins his leg break on most wickets. I'm quite certain he will get appreciable turn even today, especially when the ball is hard and not that old.
Oh, he's had a go at that one. Perhaps hit him just outside the line of off stump. It hit him actually on the thigh. Might have clipped his box as well. He looks a little uncomfortable. He was getting down and trying to hit that one over square leg. That's his favourite area. They are having a ball. Their evening's improved a little bit since India started taking a few wickets.
It certainly has added to the atmosphere, a lot more noise.
This Venkatesh Prasad running in there ready to have a bowl, and of course Healy is not feeling too good at the moment. He was standing about 3 or 4 metres away. Shane Warne padded up, ready to come in. Because this is what happened. Went to try and whip it away on the onside and got hit flush in the box. .250 for 6.
Puttakrami Singer on strike now.
So just 2 overs to go now. 250 for 6.
Well, this could be interesting now.
Big appeal there for LBW. Umpire Dunn, unmoved, moving away. Probably was slipping down the leg side.
A little bit of extra bounce here for Srinath, darting back into the right-handed lead. That delivery would have certainly missed leg stump as well.
Well, fumble. Will they come back for the second? Doubt it. In comes Raju. So 2 balls gone in this over. Another 4 and then 1 full over.
The Indians certainly won't mind this. The Australians picking up just singles. They've done a good job in the last 7 or 8 overs.
12 old, but he's got it away well too. Yes, and wait, there's a call out there, a little bit of a mix-up. Healy quite keen not to end up being run out himself. So I think he'll be looking over towards mid-wicket. There's no one there. That's interesting. I would have thought the Indians would have seen him play. He loves it in that area, but perhaps the plan is to bowl outside off stump. Again, Raju doing his stuff down at third man.
Runs still coming only in singles in this over.
He's got that one away, down the ground to mid-off. They'll come back for the second. No, they've changed their mind. That's good fielding, getting with the ball quickly. These Indians have been working very hard at their fielding. They spent a little time prior to the World Cup in a camp down in Bangalore. And that's the one he gets away so well on the onside. That time straight to the fieldsman. 6 runs from that over. 1 over to go. 256 for 6. That's whipped away on the onside. That's the area he loves it. He'll come back for the second. Yeah, there's a collision between the bowler and the batsman, but back for 2. So this is the last over of this Australian innings. They got off to a great start. They looked at one stage so they were going to nudge up near 290 odd. Perhaps even get to 300 with a bit of luck, but then Mark Waugh got out, being made a superb 100. And since then, this new batsman in, it's been a little tougher. And the Indians actually have lifted their game. They bowled pretty well towards the end in this innings. And is it then? Well, I think that's probably out. Yes, he's given. Yes, ran to the wicketkeeper that time and desperately stretching out. And eventually lost his bat. An umpire done at square leg, was given his second run out.
Well, the Australians here running for everything. Moment Ian Healy missed that delivery. Shane Lee, the non-striker, decided to go through with the run, but Nayan Mongia, wise to the occasion, hitting the stumps direct. 258 for 7, Australia.
So Shane Warne. It's well bowled again, slowly played and hit straight to extra cover, and that is the end of that. Well, that's a magnificent hit. He's got that one way down. Oh no, he's going to be out. Oh, he's got him, yes. For a second I thought that was going into the crowd. It went miles in the air. And he's missed it. They're going to run. And it's coming down the bowler's end, and he's got him. Yes, he's out, run out. The Australians all out. Well, that is good thinking by Mongia. 5 run-outs in the innings, and Mongia really realised that he wasn't going to get McGrath, and he decided to go for the bowler's end. The bowler got back to his stumps, and they managed to get the batsman run out to the non-striker's end. 5 run-outs in the innings.
This is good thinking by Nayan Mongia. The non-striker had backed up too far, and Mongia realizing that he wouldn't get out if he threw it at the striker's end, threw it to the bowler, who made no mistake in removing the bails.